Hi everyone. This video is designed to show you how to navigate our EDUC 1300 course this summer. My name is Dr. Deb Crislip-Baker. I am the Learning Strategies Department Chair and I'm also an instructor. I may or may not be your instructor, but I am in charge of this course, and all of the courses this summer work the same way. They follow the same pattern. They have the same assignments. It just depends on how much you have to do depending on if you have a 5-week or an 8-week course. So the goal of this video is to help you navigate through the structure, where to go, what to do, how much work is it going to be. So I'm going to tell you that, and I'm going to talk to you as though you are a first-time student and you've never used Canvas before. So if you're watching this, some of the items that I talk about, if you already know it, just skip forward a little bit and get to the parts that you don't know. If you're a brand new student, then hopefully this is going to help you in all of your classes navigate Canvas. When I come back, I will actually be in Canvas and you're going to be looking at the view that I see on my computer. So let's get started. Victoria College presents Dr. Deb Explains, Navigating Our Course, Summer 2020. What the home page looks like. Our home page is actually the modules, and each one of these items is a module, and you can open them or close them as many times as you need to, depending on what you need to see. So the first thing that we have is we have the student resources in the textbook. So you can see that your textbook is here in a PDF, and then there's also some corrections. So if you use the PDF and you read the textbook online, then you don't need to worry about the corrections because this file will always be updated. However, if you bought a copy of the textbook from the bookstore, then you may want to look in this page and print off or look at these or use these pages instead of what's actually in your textbook. So the textbook looks like this. It's in a PDF. So you can download it and save it to your desktop or your computer, or you can just read it here when it opens. So that's up to you as to how you prefer to do that. You can zoom, you can go to specific pages, and then when it opens, then you can see that this is actually the text of it. It may be a little slow, so there you go. So it depends on how you like to read it. And to go back, all you do is go home. So there's also student resources available, so you can look at that on your own. I will add more resources as we go along if any of them become available to you. So anything that's in blue, this bluish type face that's underlined, then you can click on that and that is something that will open for you. And usually it will open in another tab. That allows you to exit out and go back to where you were. So before we get into the modules, let's look a little bit at what else is on this page. So over here you have your navigation menu in blue. That's the left-hand blue navigation menu. The account part here, I'm not going to be able to access while I'm in student view. So let me leave student view for a minute. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you click account. So you have your name, you can put your picture up there. You have notifications, files, settings, ePortfolio, and QR for mobile login. I don't know what that is. The only two things I ever use is notifications and settings. So one of the things that you will want to do is you'll want to go into notifications and you'll want to set your preferences. But let me backtrack for a moment because you probably should go into settings first. This is your email address over here, is your ways to contact. And I think that if this is your first time getting into Canvas, you may have to verify that. The star means that that is your preferred and you cannot get rid of this. This is your Pirate Portal email address, your VC email address. And it has to stay like that. So you cannot get rid of that. All the notifications will automatically come to your Pirate Portal or your VC address. However, you can add a personal email address if you would like. So you just click the add email address and then put email in and then register. You can see that you can also add other contacts. So if you would like, you can add your cell phone number so that you can get a text. So you can just do the same thing, contact method, put in your cell phone, your carrier, and then the email, and they will ask you to verify it. So once you get that finished, it has your information here. Now, one of the things is if you use Google Drive, because you do not have a place on your computer or your tablet to save documents or items, then you're going to want to link your Google Drive account. So this is where you do that. You just click the Google Drive, authorize it, and then you'll be able to choose your Google account and then log in and give that authorization. And that's really important when you begin submitting assignments. Now, once these are finished, you have your methods of contact. Then you can go back to notifications. Now, these are all the things that you can be notified about. There's quite a few of those. So you need to choose which ones you want to receive an announcement about or a notification about. For example, due date. I don't need to know when a due date changes. That's why I have the X. X means do not send me anything, because I'm the one that changed the date. But you may want to know when a due date changes. So for every item that's here that applies to you, like some of these will not apply. They will say things like instructor and admin only is what it says. So that won't apply to you. But you can choose to click the check mark, the clock, or the calendar. The check mark means notify me right away. The clock means send a daily summary, and I believe that happens at 5 p.m. every day. And the calendar is send a weekly summary. And if I'm correct about this, then that means that you will receive an update on Saturday, I think on the weekend. Or of course, you can click the X, do not send me anything. So for me, there are a lot of things that I have X's on. But I do have things that are checked to notify me right away. And I can decide if I want them sent to my email, my phone number, or as push notifications on all of my devices. So those are two important things that you want to do. And then to get back to your class, you can just click on your dashboard. And I'm back on the home page in Student View again. So you also have grades. So if you click grades, obviously I don't have any. This is for a test student. But it will tell you how many points you've earned out of how many points that are available. So what you need to do is, if you want to figure out your grade, you can take the points that you've earned and divide it by the total available points, and that will give you your percentage if it's not shown. You can see that the course assignments are not weighted, so we do it based on a point system, and it's only going to be based on the graded assignments. So these are some of the activities, and some of them aren't worth anything, but you'll find out that this is extra credit. So if you do this assignment, you'll have a score over here out of a 0. And so you have all of those. And those are the only assignments that I have loaded right now that you can see that are coming up. You can do a what if analysis, which means right here, if you got, let's say, 45 points on this assignment, what would your grade be? It would be 45 out of 50. If you divide that out, it should be about a 90. So that doesn't mean that's the score you get, because as soon as you leave this, it's going to go back to nothing. When I put the grade in, or your instructor puts a grade in based on what you've earned, then you will have that grade right there. Now you can see that you have a 1 right here next to grades. That's because I just went in and I graded something and I made a comment. So let's look at the grades now. Okay, so you can see that this is graded. And so over here you see the comment box. That means that I've made a comment for you. And if you want to see my feedback or my comments, then you can click on that and you can see comments and who made it. You're going to need to know that later on in the course for one of your assignments. So that's grades. So let's go to the syllabus tab. So normally you're going to find your syllabus here, and it's going to be blue and it's going to look like this. And will be able to click on it. So let's click on the addendum to the course syllabus. So when you click on this, it's going to open. I'm using Safari, so here it's semi-download, so I can click on this and I can open it up as a PDF. Or you can click the preview button and you can see the file open up here if you would like to look at it in this window. You can do that with the syllabus or the addendum. So one of the other items that's here is you have your course summary down at the bottom. These are all of your assignments and when they are due and what time they are due. Over here you have your calendar and you can jump to today. And then you have the honor lock module. This is what you will need for your final exam. So you don't need to worry about it right now. You will have a practice assignment, so just make sure that you are aware of that when you do that practice assignment. So we're going to go back to home, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Canvas and how to actually navigate around it. So over here you have your to-do with all of your upcoming assignments. Now you can click on this before reading. You can see that it's locked until June 1st at 12 a.m. This prevents you from accidentally getting into a quiz and taking it too early. Now you can go into all of your assignments from the to-do part of the course, but that is not recommended. We don't want you to access your assignments through here because you may not be ready to do those assignments. For example, this intro to EDUC 1300, if you click on that, that's actually a quiz based on this video, reading the syllabus and doing other things. So if you just jump into doing this quiz without watching this video, without reading the syllabus, you're probably not going to do very well. So that's why we don't want you to use the to-do. It's there, it gives you a heads up about which assignments are coming up, but we don't want you to access it through that menu. The other thing over here on this side, you have your dashboard, you have your courses, you also have your calendar. So the calendar allows you, if you have multiple classes, you can click and you can show for all of your classes. So however many classes you have, they will show up right here. You can click each one or you can unclick it. So if you want to see all of them, you're going to see all of them. So let's get to June so that you can see, and it's color coded. My class is green, so all the green assignments are the things that are due on those days. If I uncheck that box, then I don't see anything anymore. So you can show all of your classes together or you can show just one class. Again, you can click here in the assignment. If you just hover, it tells you the details about it when it's due. If you click it, you see what it is, you have the calendar, and this assignment is locked. So it gives you more details. If you actually click the title of the assignment, then it opens up the assignment for you. So again, we don't recommend that you use the calendar to access your assignments because it doesn't give you the information of what you're supposed to do or what we want you to do before you do that assignment. Now, one thing you can do is you can use this as a planning tool, and you'll find out more about this in one of the future chapters as you learn how to use calendars. But say, for example, you had a birthday party on Saturday, June 13th. So you can click here and you can put in birthday party, the date, from, location, and click submit. There's even more options that you could do. It allows you to write even more things here. That will help you see that you have an event on the 13th. So if you have this assignment due on the 14th, you may want to do it before the 13th because you know you won't be able to do it that day. The other thing that you can do, if you click here, the My To Do, then you might put complete before reading chapter 2. And you're going to do that on the 12th. And you can even put some time in. So maybe, I think that before reading assignments are set to be like 5 minutes. Here you can put the page number if you knew what that was, and you can submit it. Now notice that these are in green because that's my class. What's in blue is mine because I am the test student right now. So that would be yours. And it may change colors, but that's how you can tell the difference between what to do in your class and what you have created. Okay, so that's just one way to use the calendar. You have the inbox here, and I can't access it right now because I'm in student view and I don't want to show you my inbox. But an inbox is just like an email inbox. It's where you can email students in the class, you can email your instructor, you just click the little icon that looks like writing on paper, and then a new message will open. You'll be able to choose if you want to send it to students or teachers, and then once you choose that, you'll be able to choose the person that you want to send it to or the people. And then you have this help center right here. So here's Canvas Student Orientation. If you would like to click that, it has some videos and other things for students. So there's Welcome to Canvas. Here's an orientation module. Now all of these are created specifically for VC, and all of these are from the Canvas guides. So if you ever need any help on how to do something, then you can come here and you can look it up and watch a video and see how to do it. The other thing that you have right here that's important, you ask your instructor a question, but I suggest using the inbox instead of this, is the VC Computer Help Desk is really important. So this tells you how to access the help desk, what should you do before contacting the help desk, other helpful information and things like that. Here's how to report a problem. So let's talk a little bit about Canvas in general. So if you're using Canvas, you need to know that there are 3 browsers that are preferred for Canvas. The first is Firefox. So if you can download the free version of Firefox, that is what is the preferred browser. When I work at my work computer, that's the browser that I use. The second preferred browser is Google Chrome. So if you don't have that installed, then you can also download that. It is also free. The third browser that works is Safari, and that's what I use when I'm at home because I have an Apple computer, and I've never had any problems with Safari. Those are the 3 browsers that Canvas likes the best. They are preferred in that order. First Firefox, second Chrome, third Safari. Now, you cannot use Internet Explorer or Edge. Canvas does not work well with those. Your links will not open and other things will present themselves as problems. So if you're having difficulty, check and see which browser you are using. So I'm back on the home page and back in modules. So we already talked about the student resources and honor lock. So here's where your modules start. Now, you're doing this class in either 5 weeks or 8 weeks, and typically this class is 16 weeks. So you're doing the same amount of work, you're doing the exact same expectations as if you were doing it in a 16-week course, only you're doing it in a much shorter time frame. So if you're taking the 5-week class, you're basically doing 4 weeks of work in 1 week, and that's just how summer works. If you're doing the 8-week class, you're doing 2 weeks of work in 1 week. So it looks like a lot, but I want to tell you how we've grouped it and how you know what you're supposed to do. Each of these is a module. So if you're taking the 5-week class, you're going to have 4 lessons in each week. If you're taking the 8-week class, you will have 2 lessons in each week. If you were doing this class face-to-face this summer, you would be spending 2.5 hours in class and you would still have homework. So the 5-week class would be meeting 2.5 hours 4 days a week, and the 8-week class would be meeting 2.5 hours 2 days a week. With that being said, that's how this is organized. I'm looking at the 8-week class right now, so it has 2 lessons for the first week. It is arranged in tasks or activities, and then in homework. So these are tasks and activities are things that we would have done in class if we would have been able to actually meet in class. Since we're not doing that and you're taking this online, these are the activities that you should do. So you should plan on spending about 2.5 hours working through these activities. It shouldn't take that long. Some weeks are longer than others, obviously, but most of these are very short, chunked assignments, so you can do one in probably 10, 15, 20 minutes. Half an hour max, and then you could take a short break and you can come back and do the next one. The homework takes a little bit longer. Those are readings, those are reviewings, those are things that we want you to do as items that responsible, successful college students often do. So you'll notice here that I want you to start here because this has the information, and what's missing here is the student navigation video, which is going to be posted as soon as I get this finished. So that will actually be the first thing here. You will notice that you have to complete all items in order to complete this module. And that's what these little circles are here that are grayed out. That's also why these are grayed out and this is in the darker font, because this is the first thing that we want you to do. So as soon as you click into this, and I can't do it right now because it doesn't open until June 7th and it's not June 7th yet. So as soon as you click into this, you'll notice that you must submit this assignment. So you actually have to do it. When you do it, this is going to be checked and this next assignment is going to open. When you contribute to this assignment, then that's going to be checked and the next one is open. As soon as you view this page, then this will be checked and the remainder of the module will open. Now, in order to get to the next lesson, you have to complete everything that's required in this lesson, lesson 1, because it has a prerequisite of lesson 1. So as soon as you've checked all of those items, then this next module will open. That's important because if you don't do one of these things, you can't move on to week 2. And if you read the syllabus, which you will when we get to the syllabus, you're going to find out that your attendance is based on submitting at least one assignment every week. So you need to do these in order to get to the next item. Now notice here the reading articles doesn't have anything. It's possible that you don't do your homework. However, that's going to make it hard to do the lessons and activities for the next lesson. So let me pull this up a little bit. I just got out of student view so that I can show you these items. So you have the exact same thing, only now you can see them. So again, you have your tasks and activities and what is required for you to do, and then you have your homework. So the before reading activity, if you notice, almost all of these assignments, you can either listen to or read the directions on how to complete this assignment. So if you want to listen to it, you can just click that button and then listen to the directions. Or you can just come down here and you can read the directions. So this is a quiz. You can either do it here or you can do it in your textbook. If you choose to do it here, then you earn 1 point extra credit. So when we go back to the module, some of these items, like this one, you can do it here, you can earn extra credit, or you can do it in your textbook and not get extra credit because there's no way that we have of knowing that you actually did it. So that's up to you. And then there's the reading. So you're going to have some reading. Again, these are the directions for all of this text if you would like to listen to them. And then you have a recording of pre-reading for the chapter. And you'll find out in these directions that that's what you're supposed to do before you begin reading. And then you actually have the chapter 1 text. So if you would like to listen to chapter 1 instead of reading it, then that's your option. As you will find out in a couple of chapters, it's much better for your brain and it helps your memory if you actually look at the chapter as you're listening to it and following along. So that's an option as well. If you're busy and you want to put on your AirPods or your earbuds and you want to listen to this while you do laundry or you drive to work or whatever the case may be, then you can obviously do that. We have multiple options here available for you to help you get your assignments finished. The other thing that I want to show you is reviewing. Obviously, you should be reviewing because you will have an exam, you will have a final exam, and we don't want you to forget this material. So we've built in some items for you to review. And if you look at the directions here, again, you can either listen to or read the directions, but it says take a moment to review chapter 1. You can do it with this practice quiz, or you can just review yourself. The very next thing, and that's another way to navigate here, is you can do previous or you can do next. If you go to next, then here's the quiz for chapter 1. You can use this quiz to review your chapter. You can take this quiz as many times as you would like because you're going to get different questions each time. There's a bank of questions and it just pulls 10 random questions for you. And it's a practice quiz, so it's not graded. You can take it as many times as you would like, and it helps you keep that information fresh. And as you discover in a future chapter, it's called retrieval practice, and that's the way you should study. When you look at some of these modules, it's going to look like there's a lot of work. But in reality, some of these things are very, very quick. Before reading, it's like 5 minutes. Take 10 minutes to review the chapter, these two things. So these two items right here are going to take you approximately 15 minutes to do. This is going to take you much longer. All of these things that aren't green yet, I don't have those made, so I'm working on those. Most of these are going to be videos on how to do assignments, and those will be added as we go along. You may have noticed that once I got out of student view, the menu over here became very long. All of these things that are X'd out, you cannot see. We do that for a reason. Every instructor at VC has a Canvas, what we call shell, for each course where they put their assignments and their information. Now, every instructor is required to add the syllabus on the syllabus page. That's all the instructors are required to do. So some instructors add the syllabus and that's it. They don't put grades in, they don't do attendance, they don't do any of those items. Other instructors, especially for online classes, use Canvas for everything. Canvas is the learning management system, and it's how we deliver content to students, whether they are in face-to-face or online classes. Not every instructor organizes their class the same way. On some people's homepage, you'll find the syllabus. Some people will have modules on the homepage. Some people will have additional information. So you are going to find a variety of settings when you get into your various classes. We don't want you to use assignments. Assignments lists all of your assignments, just like the calendar and the to-do. I have them closed at the moment, but these are all of your discussions. We don't want you to use this because we don't want you to jump into discussion chapter 1 and then go to introductions and then discussion chapter 2. We want you to go through the modules exactly as we have it listed. So when you get to discussion of chapter 1, down here, you've already been introduced to the chapter, you know how to do discussion posts, you've reviewed the chapter, and then you can do a better answer for that discussion, chapter 1. If I just let you jump into that because it's the first thing in the assignments, you're not going to do very well. So we want you following the path in the modules in order for you to do much better on your assignments. Now, some instructors may tell you to go to assignments and they may have it set up where do this, do this, do this, and that's perfectly fine. Your instructors will tell you how, or they should tell you how, to navigate your course. Same thing is true for quizzes, pages, modules. The modules is a home page, so that's why we don't give you a separate link for the modules. So as we go through the course, some of these may become available when you need them. But for right now, you only need to focus on these items right here, and we wanted to keep it very short, simple, and easy for you. One final word about technology and Canvas. Now, I'm showing you Canvas on the computer. We would prefer that you complete the course with a computer because that's the view that you see here, and that's how we see it. It's also better to submit your assignments through a computer than it is through your phone. Let's talk about the phone for a minute. We already talked about the browsers, either Firefox, Chrome, or Safari, but on your phone, you can access Canvas through your browser if you have Google or Safari, or I guess Firefox. I've never put Firefox on a phone, but I use my phone to access Canvas when I'm not around my laptop and a student has a question, but I use the browser. So I actually go to Safari on my phone and I actually log into the Pirate Portal and then into Canvas through that method. I do not use the Canvas app. When we're talking about using a laptop versus a tablet versus your phone, what you see here is going to change depending on what you're using. For example, this menu may be first, the middle part may come underneath on your phone, and then this section over here, so what I call the right navigation menu, might actually be at the very, very bottom of the page because your screen size will have shrunk. Same thing goes with the tablet. Depending on how big your screen is, depends on what you see in which order. So if you have to use a tablet or a cell phone, then please use the browser to access Canvas. Now, if you've downloaded the app, that's great. You can use that to check your grades, but it's going to look different than what I just showed you. You may or may not see comments. Specifically, when you submit assignments, the app is very, very different than the computer. And when you submit assignments, you're going to have to oftentimes upload attachments. So if you can't do that with your phone, you're going to need a computer in order to do that. First, just remember this, we do not recommend that you do a class with only your cell phone. But if you need to, then please use the browser and not the app because the app is very different. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leave a comment, let me know. If you didn't, leave a comment and let me know that too. It's always good to get positive feedback or even constructive criticism, as you'll learn in this class. So that's all for now. As Dr. Deb explains,